One summer afternoon in San Francisco, a wine glass shatters and a choice is made. Zara, a 32-year-old caretaker with a vision tucked in her journal, steps between a frightened 7-year-old and the woman meant to be her stepmother. Liam Caldwell, a young tech mogul and single father, walks in and everything shifts. What follows is a storm of headlines, a love that defies obligation, a kitchen dream called Haven and Spice, a gala, a key with a handwritten note, and a chalkboard where 3 names might finally belong. Who shapes the story? Power or truth? Stay until the end to decide what home truly means. The crash came first. The sound of glass splintering against tile, sharp and sudden, like the hush before a cry. Lily froze. Her small hand trembled above the crimson-streaked stem of what was once a wine glass, now shattered at her feet like frost on pavement. She hadn't meant to knock it over. She'd only reached for the toy doll Celeste had told her to play with quietly while she paced the patio, phone in hand, commanding the sunlit air. But now Celeste's heels stopped clicking. Her words cut off mid-sentence. Her face losing the polished charm it wore so well in public. "Are you kidding me?" she hissed. Her voice dropped, but its venom surged. "Do you know how much that costs, Lily?" Before Lily could blink, Celeste's hand gripped her arm, not like someone guiding a child, but claiming a possession. Her nails pressed with intent. Her flawless facade cracked, revealing something cold, something coiled beneath designer dresses and socialite smiles. Lily didn't speak. She only blinked, wide-eyed, too young to name fear, but old enough to feel it pulse beneath her ribs. Zara didn't think. She moved from the kitchen doorway, where she'd been folding a dish towel and watching quietly. She crossed the patio like lightning slicing open sky. Her voice stayed low, steady, fierce. Her body spoke for her. She knelt, unlatched Celeste's hand from Lily's arm with surprising strength, and pulled the girl into her chest. "That's enough," she said. Lily clung to her, face buried in the soft cotton of Zara's shirt, small shoulders jerking with silent sobs. Celeste stepped back, then forward, arms flung wide in mock outrage. "Are you serious right now?" She broke it. She needs to learn. Zara rose slowly, shielding Lily behind her legs, eyes locked on Celeste's. "She's 7 and terrified." Celeste laughed, high and brittle. "Oh, I see. Now you're the mother. Sweetheart, don't get confused. You work here." But the words didn't land. Not really, because in that moment, Zara wasn't just an employee. She was the only adult who chose protection over appearances, presence over power. Celeste, in all her polish, stood exposed, not elegant, but petty and cruel. Then came Liam, who never arrived early, never cut meetings short, but today something pulled him back. Maybe it was Lily's missed morning hug or Zara's earlier text about needing more allergy medication. Whatever it was, he stood now in the arched doorway to the glass-lined patio, briefcase forgotten in one hand, phone slipping from the other. What he saw needed no translation. Lily trembling, Zara shielding her, Celeste flushed and pointing fingers like knives. Liam's chest tightened. The man who built an empire reading data saw the clearest pattern of all. His daughter was afraid, and Zara was the one holding her. Not Celeste, never Celeste. "What's going on here?" he asked, voice too soft, the kind that precedes storms. Celeste spun toward him like he was her savior. "Thank God. She's overreacting." Liam didn't blink. I asked Lily a question that silenced her. Zara gently nudged the girl forward. Lily looked up at her father, eyes glistening. I dropped it, and she hurt me. The truth cut sharper than glass. Celeste sputtered. That's not. I didn't hurt her. She reached for Liam's arm, but he stepped away. You grabbed her. You left a mark. His eyes dropped to Lily's arm, where faint crescents bloomed on soft skin. You laid a hand on my daughter. The words fell like stone into water, sending ripples that wouldn't fade. Liam didn't shout. He didn't need to. Every inch of him radiated cold finality. We're done. Celeste laughed, louder now, desperate and hollow. You're throwing this away over a tantrum for a maid? Her voice cracked on the last word, spat like dirt. Liam turned to Zara, then back to Celeste. Her name is Zara, and she just showed me more integrity in 30 seconds than you have in a year. That was the end. No drama, no drawn-out exits. Celeste grabbed her bag with trembling hands and walked past Liam without a word. Her heels echoed across the polished floor, but no one followed. When silence settled, Zara stood like a shield between Lily and the world's next blow. Her hands were steady, but her heart raced, not from fear, but from the familiar cost of doing right. She didn't look at Liam at first, just crouched to Lily's level, brushing a curl from her forehead. You're okay, she whispered. I've got you. Lily nodded, pressing her face into Zara's shoulder. Liam watched, something long numbed by corporate shields cracking open slightly. He'd built a house of glass, impressive, transparent, cold. But now he saw what it hid. Fear behind smiles, cruelty in control, love where he hadn't expected it. Thank you, he said, voice catching in a way that startled them both. Zara met his gaze. She doesn't deserve to be afraid in her own home. Liam nodded, not just agreement, but recognition. Something had shifted. The house of glass hadn't shattered with a wine glass, but something necessary had. That evening, after the shards were swept and Lily fell asleep curled on the couch with her stuffed unicorn under one arm, Liam stood by the window, watching the sun sink into the San Francisco skyline. Zara entered, hesitant, unsure if she should stay or vanish now that the drama had passed. You can sit, Liam said. When she did, he didn't say much. There were no apologies to suffice, no words to undo what she'd seen. Instead, he watched Lily sleep and said quietly, I thought I had everything controlled, but today I saw what I hadn't wanted to see. Zara didn't judge. Most people don't look until something breaks, she said. Not poetic, just true. Liam nodded, silent. Then he said the only thing that felt honest. I'm not letting her near Lily again. Zara believed him. Not because of his wealth or words, but because of how he looked at his daughter and at her. The glass house still stood, but a crack now let truth in. Lily stirred in her sleep as Zara kissed her forehead and whispered, It's going to be okay. Liam, watching, knew she wasn't just speaking to the girl. The backlash hit faster than expected, not with honest outrage, but with the cold precision of crafted scandal. By late afternoon, headlines spun a new tale, tech mogul torn by domestic drama. Billionaire's fiancé ousted by staff. From housekeeper to homewrecker. The articles weren't blunt, but their insinuations let readers draw cruel conclusions. Celeste hadn't wasted time, planting interviews, nudging gossip pages with contextless photos, feeding editors polished victimhood to paint Zara as an opportunist clawing her way up. Liam scrolled in disbelief, jaw clenched, watching algorithms devour context and spit out lies. Every article siding with Celeste carried a darker subtext. Zara didn't belong. Not in Pacific Heights, not in that house, not in Lily's life. He turned to her, voice burning. I'll hire lawyers. PR will shut this down. But Zara, seated beside a quietly playing Lily, shook her head. Just keep Lily safe. That's all I need. That didn't sit well with Liam, who'd built his life on strategy and winning. But Zara wasn't asking for victory. She wanted peace. In a world where public opinion roared louder than truth, she knew how these stories played out. She didn't want statements or denials. She wanted presence, and Liam tried. That evening, he turned off his phone and stayed close, watching how Zara handled Lily gently, without dramatizing the morning. She didn't mention it. Instead, she made pancakes, blueberry, Lily's favorite, letting her mess up the batter and declaring it the best ever. They ate on the floor, cross-legged, like a sleepover, not a war zone's aftermath. Liam sat nearby, unnoticed but observing, realizing healing wasn't always firepower. Sometimes it was a child laughing again. And the woman who made that happen wasn't someone you protected out of guilt. She was someone you stood beside, whether the world agreed or not. Later, after Lily slept with syrup on her cheek and a unicorn under each arm, Zara returned to the kitchen. She expected Liam to be in his office, strategizing, but he leaned against the counter, nursing cold coffee, staring into the darkness beyond the glass walls. She grabbed her worn journal from a drawer, hidden under receipts, and flipped to a half-empty page. She wrote a shopping list. Almond milk, oatmeal, blueberries, small grounding things. Then, almost as a whisper, she added, dreams, haven and spice. Not a plan yet, just a thought she couldn't lose. She left the journal on the table, forgetting it. Liam reached for it, knowing he shouldn't, but curiosity felt like understanding, not violation. His eyes found dreams, soft but real. He didn't smile. He folded the page and slipped it into his pocket. The next morning, the storm hadn't passed. It had shifted. A blog post hinted at Liam's pattern of intimacy with staff. A social media thread linked Zara's name to calculated power moves. The language wasn't suable, but it dripped poison. Liam cursed under his breath. They're tearing you apart, he muttered. Zara didn't flinch. They're trying to make me smaller. There's a difference. He sat slowly, watching her cut Lily's toast into stars. You're not small, he said. You're the only one here who sees her, who sees me. Zara paused, not expecting that. I don't need you to say that just because you feel guilty, she warned gently. Liam leaned forward. I'm not. I just know what this is, whatever the world calls it. Her eyes searched his, then looked away. Let's just get through today. By mid-afternoon, Zara restored order in quiet ways that never made headlines. Laundry folded, fridge restocked, Lily's shoes cleaned after a muddy park run. She was oxygen, unnoticed until missing. Liam had a meeting he couldn't skip, so Zara read to Lily, doing voices until she giggled, forgetting her earlier question about the mean lady. She's not coming back, Zara promised, brushing Lily's curls. I'm here, okay? Lily nodded, sleepy, the morning's weight lifting. Upstairs, Liam finished a call early and heard the end of a lullaby. Zara's voice wasn't perfect, missing notes, humming parts, but it wrapped the room like truth. He stood in the hall, not breaking the spell. For all his billions, this moment was the most valuable thing in his world. That night, Zara found her journal on her pillow, open to her scribbled page. A sticky note was attached, Liam's handwriting careful. Whatever your dreams cost, I'd like to invest. She bristled at first. Was this pity? But there was no arrogance, only sincerity. She wasn't ready to respond. She closed the journal and set it aside. Tomorrow, she'd decide if the dream held in daylight. For now, Lily slept without crying. And in a spinning world, someone had taken dreams and made it real. Liam, unaware of what he'd sparked, stood in his room, staring at his phone. The noise online was ugly, but in his pocket, the folded page rested like a secret. He didn't know it yet, but dreams would build something stronger than silence. By week's end, the house felt warmer, not from decor or wealth, but from small things. The clatter of spoons as Lily measured flour. Proud applause when she cracked an egg without breaking it. Did you see that? She gasped, looking at Zara like she'd conquered the moon. Zara nodded, holding back a laugh. Chef in the making. Liam watched from the kitchen's edge, arms crossed, saying little. His eyes softened when Lily beamed. He was learning not to take over, a new kind of growth for a man used to control. Zara didn't instruct him. She just moved with grace, and Liam began to sync with her unspoken rhythm. Evenings became sacred, not from rituals, but from their natural formation. Lily's bedtime, bath, pajamas, 2 books was no longer a task, but an anchor. Liam joined in. One night, mid-story, Lily interrupted, handing him the second book. You read too, she demanded. I don't do voices, he warned. Lily rolled her eyes. That's okay. Zara does them better. Zara smirked but stayed silent. Liam read slowly, stumbling, then tried a unicorn whinny. It was awful. Lily roared with laughter. Zara watched, not just the scene, but the man trying without asking for applause. It tugged at her, not romance, but recognition. After Lily drifted off, curled between pillows, Zara lingered by the doorway. Liam stood beside her. Their shoulders brushed, and neither moved away. Things shifted in the in-betweens, washing dishes, picking up toy blocks. They weren't building on purpose, but something was forming. One evening, Zara handed Liam a towel while drying plates. Their fingers touched briefly, warm, simple, undeniable. He looked at her, unsure whether to apologize or lean in. Don't think too hard. It's just a towel, she said, breaking the silence, but not the contact. He chuckled, tension dissolving. Right, just a towel. But he watched her, memorizing, wondering. Zara felt the chemistry, but knew it was slower, careful, earned. Neither pushed nor fell. They waited, understanding the difference between desire and readiness. Lily noticed, as children do. She paired them in her way. Sit next to Zara, she told Liam at lunch. She tells better jokes when you're here. Or, can Zara come to the aquarium with us? One evening, she held up a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures under a giant pancake. It's us, she said proudly. At the pancake planet. Liam raised an eyebrow. That's a planet? Yep. And Zara's the captain. Zara smiled, touched deeply. Lily had folded her into her world without hesitation. Liam saw it, not with envy but awe. It was one thing to admire Zara's grace, another to see her rewrite his daughter's atmosphere. Gratitude had always been transactional for Liam. A thank you, a bonus. But with Zara, he struggled. How do you thank someone for restoring laughter to your child? He tried once, offering a raise, more vacation. Zara stared like he'd missed the point. You want to thank me? She asked, folding Lily's laundry. Stop acting like this is a debt. I'm not doing it for you. Liam opened his mouth and shut it. She wasn't angry, just clear, and the truth stung. He'd been trying to balance invisible scales. Zara didn't care about evening things out. She did what felt right. That night, he sat alone after everyone slept. For the first time in months, he didn't check stocks or emails. He thought of Zara's unspoken words, how she moved, listened, stayed. The house felt alive, and the pull between them was constant, like a current beneath calm water. Celeste didn't just return. She orchestrated her re-entry like a performer. A primetime interview aired in Los Angeles, with soft lighting and sympathetic angles. "It's been hard," she said, eyes misting, "to be pushed out by someone who doesn't know what we built." She never named Zara, but her pauses and tone painted the picture. Clips from the glass house's security system showed a tense moment without context, suggesting Zara had raised her voice. The narrative whispered, infecting social media with suspicion. Comments carried the worst. Veiled racism, classist barbs. She knew what she was doing. By morning, the internet had chosen sides, favoring Celeste's polished tale. The real blow came at Lily's school, where classmates overheard parents gossip. "Daddy, why do they say Miss Zara's bad?" Lily asked softly from the car seat. She hugged me. She didn't yell. "Why are people lying?" Liam's throat tightened. "How do you explain narrative isn't truth? Some people lie louder, but that doesn't make them right," he said. At home, Zara was cleaning Lily's art supplies. She sensed a shift in Lily's slumped shoulders. That night, alone, she sat with her journal, writing a letter to survive. "I don't want to be a cause, a symbol, or a footnote. I want to be a path, a choice, not something people apologize for wanting near." Her hand trembled with clarity. This wasn't about Celeste or hashtags. It was about who she was allowed to be and what it cost to exist. She folded the page and slept, leaving it on her nightstand. The next morning, she moved through the house efficiently, but the light in her steps was dim. Liam noticed her tightened hands, her avoided glances. He wanted to speak, but didn't. While Zara was out getting groceries, Liam found her journal on the kitchen counter, the folded letter peeking out. He shouldn't have read it, but it was a mirror. Her words clicked. She didn't want protection or elevation. She wanted room to walk side by side. His offers, pay, invitations felt narrow, wrong. That night, on the back patio, Zara sipped tea barefoot, curled into herself. Liam stood in the doorway, holding her letter. "You didn't leave this for me," he began. "No," she said. "I didn't. I read it anyway. I'm sorry for what I haven't understood." She didn't reply immediately. He continued, "I've tried thanking you with money control, but you want space, autonomy, not to be fixed. I just want to be real in a life that keeps editing me out," she said. Liam sat, giving her space. "I can't undo what's been said, but I can choose how I act. I want to walk your path, if you'll let me." The silence wasn't distance, it was understanding. That was the turning point. Liam stopped seeing Zara as someone to protect and saw her as someone who needed only room to lead. The house was still under siege from digital whispers, but Liam didn't suggest press conferences. He listened. When Zara spoke, he didn't interrupt. When Lily asked why people believed lies, he helped her name truth. Zara found her letter refolded on the counter, returned without fanfare. Read, understood. It made her breathe easier. Liam was building a bridge, not a cage. Zara didn't ask permission to leave Pacific Heights that morning. She informed Liam. "Lily needs a change," she said, zipping the girl's backpack. Liam started to offer private parks, safe retreats, but Zara shook her head. She needs real, not curated. He caught the subtext and stepped aside. Text me when you get there, he said. Her eyes softened. Brooklyn wasn't escape. It was homecoming. When Zara and Lily stepped off the subway in Fort Greene, Zara's shoulders loosened. The tiny bistro on Fulton Street hadn't changed. The door jingled and a voice called, "Is that my girl?" Ella Thompson appeared, apron stained, arms open. Zara fell into the embrace, the first safe thing in weeks. Ella didn't ask for gossip. She'd seen the headlines. She just hugged Zara tightly. "You must be the little star," Ella said, crouching to Lily. "Hungry?" Lily nodded with reverence, as if the place whispered welcome. They sat at Zara's old favorite table. Ella brought cornbread, chicken stew, and cinnamon pudding too old to be Googled. Lily's face lit up at the pudding. "It tastes like home," she said, blinking. Zara choked back emotion. Lily didn't know what it meant, but she felt it. "You always had good instincts," Ella said, eyes on Zara. In the kitchen, clatter and aroma felt like memory. Zara stirred a pot. Lily played with flour, giggling at her mess. Ella leaned in, ready to stop surviving and start building. Zara didn't answer, but she didn't say no. Back in Pacific Heights, she moved like she carried hope. In the dining room, where Liam's meeting papers lay scattered, she unpacked books. The Lean Startup, Kitchen Confidential, Black Food, and old notebooks with plans and costs. She sketched a bistro layout, a menu, pancakes, gumbo, pudding, then scribbled in the corner, "Haven and Spice to welcome, nourish, heal." Liam stopped pretending to work, closing his laptop. He saw her write, her calm returning. "Is that the name?" he asked softly. Zara blinked, startled. "I guess it is," she said quietly. "I hadn't planned on naming it today. I think it was waiting for you," Liam said. She looked at him, not with thanks, but pride. He nodded, watching something sacred rise. That night, Liam emailed a Michelin-starred chef friend who mentored talent. Subject: a friend with a dream worth backing. "I know someone with vision. She doesn't need saving, just a chance to be heard. Can you meet her?" He reread it, ensuring it wasn't charity, it was belief. He hit send, feeling he'd done something for someone who mattered. Across the hall, Zara rewrote Haven and Spice in her journal, adding, "No glass walls, no apologies, just belonging." It was for her a promise. The Caldwell Labs Charity Gala in San Francisco was meant to dazzle. Tech and philanthropy in one spotlight. This year, it was about narrative. Celeste arrived early, dressed like redemption in a white gown. Her team priming media with leaks. A misunderstood breakup, unstable transitions. She moved like a queen in exile, collecting condolences. Zara stood at the back with Lily's hand in hers, not to compete, but to endure. Flashbulbs burned, and Lily flinched. "Do we have to stay?" she whispered. Zara had declined Liam's offer to skip the gala. "I need to be seen," she'd said. Her navy dress was grounded, unshakable. But whispers followed. "Is that her? I thought she'd be more polished." Liam saw her across the room, eyes storming, but the host called him for the keynote. Celeste watched, unreadable. Then, unnoticed, Mia Carter, a freelance journalist, stepped up. Zara had helped her years ago when no one else would. Mia wasn't here for gossip. She was here for truth. Unplanned, Mia walked on stage, handed a flash drive to the technician, and spoke. "You'll want to hear this." The screen lit up with audio clips. Celeste arranging doctor videos, texts showing payments to paparazzi, emails framing Zara. No commentary, just truth. The crowd shifted, a collective breath. The narrative unraveled. Celeste froze. Some looked at her. Others looked away. Liam took the mic. Steady. I had a speech, but what you saw says more. I'll let narratives live, thinking they pass. Silence protected the wrong things. He looked at Zara. The person I should have defended sooner is back there. If you think she's the problem, reconsider who deserves to stand beside me. It wasn't fiery, just honest. Applause started hesitantly, then grew, a standing correction. Celeste sat, smile frozen. Liam went straight to Zara, ignoring the press. I'm sorry, he said, raw, deliberate. Zara's body tensed, braced for spectacle, but his voice let her breathe. Thank you, she said, not because it fixed everything, but because it was his first step for her, not himself. Lily tugged her dress. Can we go home? Zara nodded. We're ready. Outside, the air felt clearer. They drove back, Lily asking for pancakes, Zara saying yes. Liam smiled quietly. Something had shifted, not just publicly, but privately. A narrative was reauthored, and Liam wasn't driving it. He was stepping in with humility. In the days after, the storm hit Celeste. Evidence left no room for denial. Media retracted stories. Sponsors dropped her. Her PR firm erased her. Justice didn't need performance. Investors now praised Liam's integrity as good for business. He didn't gloat. Silence had more dignity. For Zara, the aftermath was complex. Suddenly, she was a symbol, grace under fire. Blogs wanted interviews, brands offered deals. But she felt the cages behind their praise. She turned them down calmly. I'm not a symbol, she told one executive. I want to build something for me and mine. Liam heard her, the words echoing. She asked for one thing, space to gather her people and build. He agreed, not to protect, but to empower. In the glass house's kitchen, Zara turned the table into a war room. Ella arrived with cornbread and a recipe journal. Chef Marco, Liam's friend, came to advise. Victor, an accountant from Bed-Stuy, spoke numbers simply. They pored over books, invoices, a folder marked Haven and Spice. Zara laid it out. Costs, suppliers, a schedule keeping Lily's routine stable. I want more than a restaurant, she said. A place where people feel seen as community. Her voice didn't shake. It was a declaration. Lily, drawing nearby, named her dish unicorn toast. Zara kissed her head. Seeing her backwards are in Haven and Spick. Perfect, she whispered. Liam watched, not her confidence, but her command. She answered Victor without deferring, and Ella followed her lead. He could have said something romantic, but it would have been inadequate. She needed action, not words. The next morning, Zara found her journal on the table, open to her plans. Inside was an envelope with a silver key, tagged, storefront, Fulton Street. Yours if you want it. The lease was blank, her name waiting. No conditions, just trust. She held the key, looking at Liam on the porch, not watching her. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was shared ownership of a future she'd already begun. The store wasn't a gift. It was a doorway. Liam had learned to step aside and walk with her when invited. The bistro on Fulton Street stayed unfinished longer than planned. Paint dried slowly, the oven from Chicago delayed. The gas company lost her application, but neighbors brought chairs. A teen named Jaden offered to paint the sign for Cobbler. Each problem drew people closer. Liam tried fixing things with calls, but Ella taught him, You don't fix delays, you season them. By week 2, the bistro felt like a community rehearsal. Mia stacked menus, laughing with Zara over their bad lines. Liam wrestled with IKEA shelves, amused he needed tutorials. He watched Ella teach Lily to stir molasses, looking away when Zara caught him. That evening, he said, "This place already feels open." Zara smiled, letting the truth live. The next day, Liam met his lawyer, filing for shared emotional guardianship of Lily. Not possession, but acknowledgement. Zara wasn't temporary. She was constant. The documents were practical, but his hand shook signing them, crossing a threshold. He left the envelope on Zara's chair in the bistro. She found it, expecting invoices, but saw her name beside Liam's and Lily's in legal print. For seconds, she couldn't move. No one had written her into a life like this. Equal, recognized, ascertained that this bistro is a place where people feel seen, not as customers, but as community. Her voice didn't shake. This wasn't a pitch. It was a declaration. Noah, in the background, sat with paper and crayons, drawing with focus that matched theirs. He named his dish T-Rex toast. When Amara checked his progress, he grinned, showing a green dinosaur with a wooden spoon beside a sign reading Hearth and Honey. The R backward, honey missing an E. She didn't correct it, just kissed his head. "Perfect," she whispered. Ethan stood watching, not just her confidence, but her command. She directed the conversation with grace, never yielding her voice. Ethan could have said something romantic, but it would have felt inadequate. She needed action, real, tangible, irrevocable action, proving he believed in her enough to step aside. The next morning, Amara woke to find her notebook on the kitchen table, open to her scribbled list. Tucked inside was an envelope with a silver key, tagged, storefront, Dean and Hoyt. "Yours if you want it." She stared, then opened the unsigned lease, her name blank. No assumption, just trust. She held the key, looking at Ethan on the porch, not watching. This wasn't a fairy tale. It was shared ownership of a future she'd begun building. The store wasn't a gift, it was a doorway. Ethan understood she didn't need her path cleared, just someone to walk beside her when invited. That was the shift. Amara had her name back, her dream intact, with people valuing her voice, not just her story. The kitchen stirred again, Noah bursting in for chocolate chip pancakes. As plans for Hearth and Honey finalized between cornbread and laughter, something clicked. The war for her worth was won, but this was the real beginning, a life hers by design. Ethan joined, not with authority, but with coffee and a smile, placing a mug beside Amara. "You lead, I'll follow," he said. She nodded, flipped her notebook, and started a list. Community. Freedom. Ours. She traced ours twice. Nothing opens on time. The bistro on Dean and Hoyt stayed unfinished. Slow paint, delayed ovens, lost applications. But neighbors brought chairs. A teen, deli, offered to paint the sign for cobbler. Each delay drew people closer. Ethan tried fixing things with calls, but Donna Mae taught him, "You don't fix delays, you season them." By week 2, the bistro felt like a community rehearsal. Ava stacked menus, laughing with Amara over bad lines. Ethan wrestled IKEA shelves, amused at needing YouTube. He watched Donna, May teach Noah molasses stirring, looking away when caught. "This place already feels open," he said that evening. Amara smiled, letting the truth live. The next day, Ethan filed for shared emotional guardianship. Not possession, but acknowledgement. Amara was the constant, the safe place. His hand shook, signing the papers, crossing a threshold. He left the envelope on her chair. Amara found it, expecting invoices, but saw her name beside Ethan's and Noah's. For seconds, she couldn't move. No one had written her into a life like this. Equal, recognized. The tightrope of loving without claiming clarified. She belonged. She tucked the paper in her notebook and found Noah, paint splattered, proud of his chalkboard menu. "Can I write the real one?" he asked, eyes wide, chalk dust on fingers. "Of course, baby," she said, kneeling. His stars and hearts were crooked. Mac and cheese, pancakes, sweet hugs. She didn't correct them, just stayed, arm around him, holding the weight of her signature. Ethan paused in the doorway, nodding. The page had turned. This was home rehearsed, almost ready. They stayed, not from obligation, but because the mess, paint cans, takeout, laughter felt like family. Noah drew Amara in an apron, Ethan with a pancake and hammer. "You fixing stuff and making breakfast," he said. Ethan laughed. "I'll take it." Amara stared, moved. This wasn't about vindication. It was writing themselves into a space no one could take. The bistro fell whole. Noah whispered, "Night, Mama," climbing into Ethan's arms. Amara didn't correct him, just brushed his curls. "Good night, baby." Outside, the sign read, "Coming soon." Inside, it was already home. The line bends around Fulton Street, past a mural, into Brooklyn's humming evening. No red carpet, just neighbors with coffee, friends texting friends, strangers drawn by sugar and cinnamon. Inside, Hearth and Honey vibrates with quiet celebration. Amara moves, alive, apron like armor, checking rosemary biscuits, nodding at Ava managing reservations, sharing a look with Donna Mae. They made it. Noah, in a crooked apron, carries water like crystal, saying, "You're welcome from Hearth and Honey." Tonight isn't just food, it's naming something sacred. The first blueberry pancakes sizzle, Amara's mother's recipe, baptized by resilience. A woman bites in, whispering, that sweetness that remembers its roots. Ethan watches from a column, not inserting himself, just present. In his pocket, a worn paper, dreams. Bistro. The dream is here, the kitchen real, the people fed. Amara is its unapologetic center. At midnight, tables clear, pecan pie vanishes, jazz plays softly. Amara steps out, flower on her arm, hair loose. The chalkboard is messy with Noah's stars and fingerprints. Ethan picks up chalk, asking permission with a look. She nods. He writes, "Hearth and Honey." Amara, Noah, Ethan. Her eyes glisten. She reaches for his hand, fingers interlacing, steady as breath. Noah hugs them, whispering, "We did it." The moment needs no hashtags. It exists, pure, defiant. Outside, Brooklyn hums, horns, teens, distant music. Inside, Hearth and Honey speaks of shared labor, earned tenderness, recipes from memory to nourishment. Amara squeezes Ethan's hand, then lets go, returning to work. She's not performing worthiness. She built this. Later, Ethan hands her the guardianship folder. It's not about titles, it's truth. She opens it, her name beside theirs. Her fingers still, eyes not meeting his. "You didn't have to," she whispers. "I know. That's why I did," he says. She signs. He does too. The pen clicks. A quiet victory for a messy, beautiful life. Amara clears Noah's chalkboard specials, preserving their names. In the corner, she writes family. She smiles, homegrown real. Ethan watches. Noah stirs peacefully. The room dims, but family remains. In her, in them. Hearth and Honey is open for everything that matters. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and share this video with someone who needs a spark of hope. Your support helps us bring more stories that matter. Join us